This drop right here on the Ethereum chart is one of the biggest dumps that Ethereum has ever seen in a 1.5 day range, right? From this high that Ethereum set at $3,300 down to the low that it's basically trading at right now at $2,300, Ethereum managed to fall by about 30%, and that makes it a catastrophic huge drop. It's lost a lot of strength, none of this coming as a surprise. Look at it against Bitcoin, for example, just plummeting, losing value against Bitcoin very quickly, which is exactly what I was waiting for when I told VIP members that I was selling my Ethereum a little bit back at higher levels, because I want to rebuy Ethereum. I want to buy it back up at cheaper levels, but I'm seeing some signs right here on the US dollar chart that Ethereum could be headed to drastically low levels. I'm talking, yeah, the low 1000s, even $900 is one potential target that I want to break down for you right now. And as usual, this is a very nuanced discussion. I'm not just trying to throw numbers out here, without having any backing for them. There's a lot of very nuanced analysis that goes into this, and I'm going to jump into all of it with you right here in this video. So if you're excited for this, do me a favor and smash up the likes as you come in to this live stream. Make sure you subscribe, because we've already been covering this content on the YouTube channel. None of this stuff taken us by surprise, like I said. I mean, we've literally been seeing this whole drop coming, initially just from basically where Bitcoin is setting brand new all-time highs. And again, if you were watching the channel back then, you're going to remember that I was already warning you guys about a potential break in market structure where we could be looking at trending all the way down, and always mentioned that if Bitcoin fell below 40,000, we'd probably drop a lot lower very quickly. Of course, the same thing for Ethereum. And the problem with Ethereum, right, is that it rises up quicker than Bitcoin. And so if it rises up quicker than Bitcoin, generally it's going to fall harder. Bitcoin, for example, today, if you look at the change here, percentage change down by 5.5%. Ethereum down by 9.1%. Very classic example. And altcoins obviously getting hit even worse, right? VPAD, by the way, at a critical buy area right now. I just want to bring this to your attention real quick while we're over here. It's actually just dropped below the $1.10 area, which is quite good support. But this whole kind of $1 range was quite important for VPAD when it had first launched. If you take a look at the chart right here, this is actually where it was finding support. So just want to bring that on your radar. But the rest of the altcoins, I mean, across the board, Phantom, for example, just getting knocked the fuck off a cliff right now. Absolutely heinous, disgusting price action, down by 17% today. Solana down by 20% today. None of this is taken us as a surprise, right? You guys will remember that I was warning you guys on this YouTube channel just days ago, just literally a few days ago. I was warning you guys that Solana's next move is so obvious, which was a major crash below the $130 area. I was warning you guys that there's no support on this chart for quite some time, and of course, look at that. So just wanted to give you a few updates there on the altcoins as I get into this Ethereum altcoin video. If you do appreciate that, again, just do me a favor as you're coming in here, smash up the likes and subscribe. We've been on point with this market. I've just ripped a beautiful trade inside of VIP as well. It's all going down right now, so don't delay yourself anymore. Jump inside of VIP right now by clicking on the first link in the description down below at @, and send message. But without wasting more time, let's just get straight into this. If you do want to jump into VIP, it's heavily discounted right now because we price it in Bitcoin, so you're paying a lot less against the dollar to jump inside. But here's the thing with Ethereum. So Ethereum has fallen below its critical areas of support right here, in my opinion, between about 2700 and 2850 on this chart. But that's not actually what I think is most concerning. I think that one of the things that I actually just want to bring to your attention right here is that on this chart, we've actually formed a few key areas of support, and I want to show you what they look like right here. So this is there's also another huge pattern here, which is very similar to Bitcoin's first warning sign. When I was first warning you guys that Bitcoin, when it was all the way up in the 60k range, when I was first warning you guys that it can end up dropping down to 40k, Ethereum is doing the same thing right now. So I'm going to get to that in just a moment as well. Make sure you stick around to the end of the video. What I want to show you first, though, is this area of support that Ethereum was enjoying, going back to, just towards the end of last year between 3,200 and 3,400. You can see that Ethereum was finding a little bit of resistance in this zone, but then it managed to flip this area into support and then into resistance a couple times and then back into support, which triggered the rally up to our all-time high, very close to $5,000. Take note of this area, because what Ethereum ended up doing then is it fell back down below this area of support, established resistance here twice, and then ended up continuing to drop down. Now, the reason that I think this is important is that we have another very similar level right here. It's the same 2700 to 2850 level. It's drawn slightly differently on this chart, but the point still holds. This is an area of support for Ethereum as well. It's already drawn on my chart. It's this box right here where Ethereum managed to find a nice bit of support right here. This is what's shown in the previous chart right here, this little drop down here towards the beginning of October. Bam, right here. Is this the same move? I think it is anyway. And yeah, it must be. And then also finding resistance in this range when Ethereum had initially fell down from that 4K all-time high and found a reaction rally. Very, very important level. Here's the thing, is that the previous area of support was back tested as resistance. This area was not. This area has not yet been back tested as resistance. It's the same deal with Bitcoin. Bitcoin on this chart has had a lot of support at the $40,000 range. We all know about this. This is why Bitcoin dumped down so quickly after it lost that support. Again, this is not taken us by surprise if you've been following this YouTube channel. We knew that this was coming from miles and miles away. This was very, very obvious. And the reason it was obvious is that we know there's not much liquidity in these ranges. So usually when Bitcoin falls out of this box, it goes all the way down to the next green box over here. Not even the box in the middle. The box in the middle is only drawn so I can explore nuance. For the most part, this box doesn't even matter. It's just going from the top of this box down to this bottom box here, up to the top, down to the bottom. That's just generally how Bitcoin moves. And so that's why I was able to expect this drop coming in so harshly. Very, very nice analysis there. But what we didn't do yet is we didn't get a reaction rally. Bitcoin is so overextended to the downside right now, ladies and gents. It's so overextended to the downside that I think it's long overdue a correction to the upside, and it must be ready to meet some support. Obviously, I think the same case is to be made for Ethereum, and the thing is if we take a look at where these levels lie for Ethereum, one of the key ones is going to be here towards the mid to high $2,000 range. Not only that, but if we take a look at where some of the resistance lines up with this chart, bam, look at that, the 1 hour Ichimoku cloud right there. Switch it on to the 4 hour time frame, look at the momentum, and take a look at this, our 4 hour momentum EMA ribbon already entering this very same range again, so potentially offering Ethereum a lot of resistance. This isn't even the worst part yet. I'm going to come back to all of this in just a second. What I want to show you that is really going to blow your mind right now is what Ethereum is doing on the longer term chart right now, which Bitcoin has already done. So you guys are already aware of this wedge, right? And I showed you, I mean, when the market breaks out of wedges like this is bad. I mean, this is very, very bearish. I wish I could tell you something more positive. I do. I mean, because you guys know, like, I'm not scared of this price movement. I still think every single one of these major coins are going to recover to their all-time highs and set new all-time highs that are much, much higher than the ones we've seen before. I think it's very obvious because this sell-off is not warranted, right? There is a whole video I'm going to make on why I don't believe we're in a bear market. And it depends on how you define a bear market. But in crypto, a bear market generally means, you know, total and utter shit like this. And I just don't think that we're in something like that right now. And I have extremely good reasons for why. I'm very, very positive about my reasoning for that. And I'm going to show you guys why in an upcoming video. So again, just make sure you are subscribed. Just give it a check. Make sure you've got the bell ticked as well, so you do get notified when these videos come out. And of course, if you want more free analysis from myself and my team, again, just use that first link in the description to take yourself into 4Fly's Gold, where I give you more free analysis that looks just like this. Exactly the same content as what I cover on the channel. You're just getting it around the clock and pinged straight to your phone. So when the market is so volatile, this is absolutely essential. You know, not being in a group like this will cost you money. Straight up, it will cost you money, and this is free. So please do take advantage of it. And then you already know the deal. If you want to jump inside VIP, watch me trading. Like I said, I just made a really nice trade on Cardano. Actually, it was a 30% profit. If you want to be able to see my next trade setups, because I anticipate making my next trade very, very soon, click on the @4Flies button at the bottom of any post in gold, and then send message to ask me how to join, and we'll give you the information within about 5 to 10 minutes. So here's the thing, is going back to Ethereum right here, it was trending up very, very quickly, entered this rising wedge, and is now breaking down. When markets break up from rising wedges like this, it's usually very, very extreme, but we didn't get to do that, and we've ended up trending down. Now, what I want to show you right here is another similar pattern, but all I'm going to do is just readjust this line down to about over here. And I'm just going to make sure I'm drawing this correctly. I'm going to go to this chart that I have drawn where it's already finalized. Bam, right here. Very, very similar rising wedge, very similar pattern, but this one is a little bit less steep, right? Where before we were finding the rising wedge support looking a little bit like this, now our rising wedge support looks a little bit more like this. So let me just draw this for you on the chart so that it makes sense. I'm looking at something a little bit like this, perhaps taking place in the market at the moment with the same overall resistance line. And this isn't me redrawing the trend just to fulfill a purpose, and I'm going to show you why in just a second. I still think that the previous breakdown that we had right here is absolutely terrible, and you guys know the target for this. It's down at about $1,100. I covered this in my most recent Ethereum video, and I'm not saying that we're going to drop there. I'm not even saying we're going to go to $900, but there are some technical targets that suggest these price levels, and I would be a fool if I didn't consider them with you. It's not to say that we're going to drop down there, but I think one of the things that's really important is that even though I don't think the market is going to fully drop down to these absolute lows, other people in these markets will believe that, right? And when everybody is saying that these markets need to drop down to, you know, like Bitcoin going down to $20,000 or, you know, Ethereum going down to whatever, $900 and so on, when people really feel that sentiment, that's when we know we're ready for a reversal. That's when we know that we're ready to go back into a very, very firm bull market. And that's why I want to cover this stuff with you, because people are going to be talking about this stuff and you need to be aware of it so that you can position yourself around it to make profits in these markets. It's absolutely essential knowledge, and these are things which, you know, perhaps just don't even get covered by most people because they just get glossed over. But of course, that's not what I'm going to do. That's not what this channel is about. And so here's the thing is, we've already broken down below this wedge, and generally the way we can actually get targets for stuff like this is measuring the peak from the first place where, you know, both lines have been touched, support has been touched and resistance has been touched. We can measure the peak right here. This was a, you know, the drop from the top line down to the bottom. This was roughly a 64% drop. And so from our breakout point, if we measure another 64% drop, it's putting us at about the $1,100 mark, just around there. And so this is a very, very important area of support. And historically, by the way, this is actually where Bitcoin, roughly where Bitcoin set its all-time high as well. So just to show this to you, how Ethereum, roughly where Ethereum set its all-time high way back in January of 2018, a whole 4 years ago. Wow, that makes me feel old. I don't know about you guys, but that definitely makes me feel old. And so Ethereum right here, you know, having that as a potential price target, which would be so beautiful. There are price targets like that for Bitcoin as well. So, you know, again, a lot of people are paying a lot of attention to that stuff, and you best believe that while people are paying attention to that stuff, we're not going to get it. It's just not going to happen. The markets are not that generous. I don't know where people all of a sudden, after we've just been bloody massacred and we've just been dropping by like half or more from our all-time high. I have no idea why people still think the market is going to be as generous as giving us a you know, another 50% discount on these beautiful price levels. I mean, if that happens, amazing, but I just don't see us getting that lucky. So anyway, that's just a personal note from me. The thing is if we redraw this like I did earlier, we end up seeing a pattern which is potentially a lot more concerning. And the reason that it's a lot more concerning to me is that it's the same, broadly speaking, the same rising wedge. Our target does change a little bit. If I use the very same method to find out where where Ethereum could end up dropping down to, again, we're looking at a very similar 64% drop, but our breakout point is a lot lower. And so a 64% drop from here is going to put us somewhere around $850, or like I said, around $900, depending on how you draw this stuff, obviously, and that potentially giving us an even lower target. That's not the reason that I'm worried about this, though. It's the fact that Bitcoin formed a very, very similar pattern earlier on in this trend. Take a look at this. You can't unsee it. As soon as I pointed out to you, you can't unsee it. It's right here on this chart. Bitcoin has formed a lot of patterns like this where it's ended up trading in these kind of rising wedge patterns. And by the way, look at this. Trading in this rising wedge pattern, breaks down below it, comes back up for the kiss of death. It actually gets 2 individual hits as kisses of death, and then drops down like a stone. Over here, very, very similar, and this is actually the one that I want to draw your attention to. Bitcoin's price action at the top over here, which I was warning everybody about when it was taking place, and you already know nobody wanted to listen to 𝗧𝗡lies at that time, but I still kept saying it because I'm not scared of speaking the truth. I'm a truth seeker. I can't help it. I want the truth. I don't want hopium. I don't want to stroke myself off and tell myself everything's going to be all right. I don't want some some other person in a minus 80% loss to come pat me on the back and tell me everything's going to be okay. So I mean, no, I want truth. I want profit. I want to make money in this market. I'm not here for friends. I'm here to fucking make money. And that means if I'm seeing something bearish at an all-time high, you best believe I'm going to say it, right? I'm not going to filter myself in that way. That's what this channel has been built on. And guys, if you appreciate that, smash up the likes, subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you want to learn how that translates into trades, because my God, this is obviously amazing analysis. If you want to see how that translates into trades, then these are the steps where you can join 𝗧𝗡lies VIP and see everything I do from start to finish, where I'm considering a trade, what makes me decide to back out, what makes me decide to commit. When I commit, where am I committing? What will my entry level be when I enter that trade? Down to the dollar, where am I setting my stop loss, removing my stop loss, and why am I adjusting the position prematurely, or playing it more conservatively than initially planned? Markets change, and you get to see how I change with these markets and trade them all in real time just by clicking on the first link down below. Again, at 𝗧𝗡lies button at the bottom of any post in 𝗧𝗡lies Gold, and then send message to ask me how to join. These 3 quick clicks will get you inside of 𝗧𝗡lies VIP, and we can start rolling here. You're also going to get free access into my 𝗧𝗡lies Academy courses, depending on which plan you take, and all yearly members get phone calls with me whenever you like. You can just request for it. We usually do them the very next day. I work 7 days a week, of course, so any day works, and we've had a lot of success with those calls as well. So definitely check that all out because it's so heavily discounted right now. But this is the thing, is that Bitcoin has formed this pattern many times in the past. I've already shown you a few examples of it, and to see that Ethereum is now doing the same thing, it's not really striking much joy for me, I'll be honest with you guys, because it looks like a very similar pattern. And the thing is like I said, if Ethereum actually uses the rising wedge pattern that it had previously, which, let me see if I can get this redrawn on the chart just by pressing redo constantly, or undo even. If Ethereum does end up back testing this area, I mean, it's probably going to back test it when there's a fair bit of confluence, right? If it just happens over these next few days, perhaps towards the end of January, beginning of February. The thing to keep in mind is that when we back test levels, we don't back test them instantly. I mean, if we do, it's really nice, but generally it's going to take a little while to back test them, right? I mean, and there's a lot of examples of this. Let me see if I can find you a couple. It's just gotta wait for the chart to load. Let's see, are there any that I can find straight away? I guess this is an area to back test, right? That Ethereum was establishing a little bit of resistance in when it first started to drop down in 2018. We fell below this support area of about $800 in March of 2018. This is again going back 4 years, and it took us quite a long time to come back up to this level and find resistance. But man, when we did do that, and we're on the logarithmic chart, let's switch it onto the linear chart. When we did find resistance here, it was a big catastrophe for Ethereum. It really was a really very bad situation for Ethereum right here, where it fell from $800 all the way down fairly quickly by the end of May, down to $500, and then to its absolute low, it fell actually under $100. And by the way, those of you who are subscribed to the channel back here, you're going to remember, I can't remember where it was. It was probably... yeah, I can't remember where exactly it was, but it was when Ethereum was like, I think it was right here is when I became really bullish on Ethereum for the long term. Obviously, even if a drop like this happened, it didn't matter to me too much. No, it was on this area. It was in this area. Pretty sure. It was one of these two, but I'm pretty sure it was this latter one where I became really bullish on Ethereum. And I just didn't shut up about it. I'm pretty sure it was here. I can't remember though. And yeah, I mean, obviously the reason for that was I expect that in a bull run, Ethereum will always be outperforming Bitcoin, and historically it has done so fairly well. The thing is when we come back to backtest areas, generally it does take a little bit of time, but when it happens, it can be quite bad for the market. And if we end up doing this anytime soon, there's going to be confluence between, these two areas of resistance, kind of stretching between 3,000 and 3,100 really. This is quite a nice area that Ethereum could end up bouncing up to. And if we did do that, then yeah, I mean, we would be looking at potentially finding a little bit of resistance there. And again, if I show you this newly adjusted rising wedge, if we are at the bottom right here, that means we could be due for a bounce. But there's a Fibonacci level right here. This Fibonacci level lies at about 3,100, and it's the most important Fibonacci level that we have, other than 1900 at the 618 level right here. I don't think that this Fibonacci level is very important because it's actually outside of our rising wedge. Here's the thing, is if I draw the same Fibonacci retracement on the chart, you're going to get this very, very clearly. You guys already know the deal. I think that Fibonacci retracements are very, very important. There is a video on it inside of the 𝗪𝗪𝗥𝗙𝗦 Academy course, and so you can jump inside of that if you've already got access to it because you're a VIP member. But the thing is if I draw a Fibonacci retracement from the coronavirus market crash of 2020, and we look at Ethereum all the way up to this high, this 382 level has been quite important at roughly $3,032. Like I said, 3,100. I mean, it's only about $70 off, and it depends on how you draw this, but this one's been drawn pretty perfectly. The thing is that this was quite an important area for the market, right? I mean, this is exactly where we got our final dead cat bounce before the huge capitulation event, where, like I said, this is one of the biggest drops Ethereum has ever had in such a short space of time. It's where we found support. It's where we found resistance. This is an important price level, and Ethereum could end up bouncing back up here to potentially find a little bit more resistance, because like I've been saying now for the past couple of days, and in almost all of my videos lately, is that I think this market is really overextended, and I think we're due for a correction. And this correction is hopefully going to ignite a lot of love and joy and excitement in the market, where people are, I mean, it would be nice if they start to really again believe that the market is going to be recovering, because again, that's what sets us up for the next major smackdown. And I'm not saying that we're going to fall down to 30k or 20k. I'm not putting out numbers like that. I just don't think it's necessary to discuss those kind of numbers right now, but because I'm a shorter term analyst. But bottom line, I think that a move like that could form a lot of people. It would be called a relief rally and so on, and also a suckers rally, right? A suckers rally is where let's say we start moving up, everyone thinks that it's going to fail. That is generally where it's not going to fail, and actually that reversal is going to stick. It's just that a few of these suckers rallies will come up, and people generally will be correct, and it's only when the majority believe that it is a suckers rally, which is when actually we do end up moving back to the upside. So if you're not familiar with that, by the way, just go ahead and type this into Google: Wall Street cheat sheet. Very, very popular chart right here, indicating what the real world markets and even crypto can go through. This isn't loading up. Let me find you another image. Just go through it very, very quickly, because I think it's important to look at this. Nothing is loading right now. I am not really quite sure why. Let me see if I can open this image in a new tab. Does this help? No, not really. Anyway, you know what to search in Google, so just take a look at it when you're done with this video. But yeah, I mean, looking at Ethereum right here, it could be due for a bounce because it's at this support area on this rising wedge, and so rising up to that 382 Fibonacci level would be great. It's also where a lot of the longer term resistance is starting to line up with. If we go back to this rising wedge pattern that I had on my chart originally, let's wait for this to load. There is, okay, I have to readjust it actually. But there is resistance right here at the 3,300 level on the one-day Ichimoku cloud, and this resistance is getting lower and lower by the day. And so this certainly could turn out to be problematic for Ethereum for sure. Let me just put this back on the logarithmic chart and make sure that I'm displaying this correctly. It's looking a little bit like this. This is how I had drawn the previous rising wedge pattern, and you can see again, I mean, that Ichimoku cloud really starting to line up with the lower trend line of this rising wedge, which of course, because it was acting as support for so long, naturally will generally flip into new resistance. And again, when we look at where momentum is on this chart, let's take a look at the daily time frame. Momentum already approaching that resistance area on the 4-hour time frame, momentum is at that resistance area right now. So if we get a quick snap back up, yeah, we're going to be met with a lot of resistance. It's just a fact. Again, I'm not trying to scare you guys. I'm not trying to make you guys think anything bad in particular. I'm just telling you guys the real cold hard facts of what's going on in these markets. And if you don't like it, you already know the deal. Get the fuck off the YouTube channel. If you can't sit through analysis like this and have your ideas and your investments challenged, if you can't stomach these kind of ideas, you don't belong in these markets. You're going to hurt yourself and you're going to lose a lot of money. So do yourself a favor, do all of us a favor, because I want to keep this channel high IQ, and get the fuck off. You already know the deal. If, however, you're ready to put up with this and learn from it and become a better trader, you're in the right place. Smash up the likes, subscribe, make sure that you've ticked the bell. If you want some free cash to be buying these coins cheap where they are right now, Bybit is offering it to you. Check it out with the link in the description down below, because when you sign up using that link, regardless of which country you're in, if you can use a VPN if necessary. Obviously, if it's illegal in your country, you gotta seriously consider if it's worth it for you. And I must advise you not to do it as a YouTuber and influencer. God, I hate that term. But if you do want to sign up to Bybit, you will get some free cash when you use my link in the description, and that will go all the way up to $4,100. So that is a huge amount of money that you can get just for signing up to Bybit and making your first deposit. So definitely check it out. That is free money that you get to use, and this is the only exchange that I trade on. It's by far my favorite one, and I've been using them for years. I've been partnered with them for years and have never ever had an issue. So well worth checking them out. And of course, like I said, if you want to learn more about how I'm trading, you want to watch me trading, all that good stuff, really transform your trading so you can grab this market by the balls, understand exactly what's going on, be able to position yourself well, exercise risk management well, really learn how to respect your money and trade it in ways where you are always going to know what's going on, and you're going to be positioning yourself for safe moves because you respect your money and you know that it's important to not lose it. This is the place to be. All the steps are on screen right now, but with that, I do need to get going because this is, I believe, the 3rd video that I'm making today, and I am bloody exhausted. So if you did enjoy it, do me a favor once more, smash up the likes once more, subscribe, tick the bell, do all of that good stuff. And guys, let me know in the comments what you feel about this rally. I'll probably hang about in the comment section for a little bit after this video. Let me know how you feel about this market, what you're thinking about Ethereum, Bitcoin. Is there anything in particular that you really want to buy yet? Are you just going to wait until you decide that you want to buy some of these coins in this market? Let me know. I know that for me, I'm waiting for reaction rallies, and I have a lot of trades already planned for what I'll do when those reaction rallies come, if they do, because nothing is a guarantee in these markets. But of course, it's very likely that we're going to, it's overwhelmingly likely actually, that we're going to get this reaction rally. I don't know where we would get it from. Obviously, each day, if the price slips lower, big things can happen. But I am very excited, and yeah, I mean, this market is just screaming opportunity right now, and I am here to seize it, and I'm here to trade it, and I already am. It's already what I'm doing. All right, guys, hope you have enjoyed this one, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye.